that process of extraction or that process of political engagement. And there are huge movements and there are ways of tracking that chronology, and people really take up that gauntlet and are massively influenced by people before them.
But I think the test of whether it works is you can only ever apply it retrospectively. One can't really tell which of the artists working today will be judged to have added something, and which will be judged to have,
time really filters that out somehow. Yeah, whereas science is doing that in real time.
But there is a peer review system in operation within the arts.
But it's not working according to any sort of rigorous consensus that can be pinned down.
It would be science then, if it was about...
Yeah, exactly. It isn't science. I mean, there's always going to be personalities involved. There are always going to be political, emotional, economic factors, which, if those were involved in science, then that's just corruption. That's just wrong, and that should be, But in the arts, it's inevitable. There's people's, just clashing personalities.
In science, there are the exceptions. I mean, like Babbage is a very good example of something that was just never filtered in the right way, and it wasn't for 100 years where his technology and his vision was actually understood to be what it was.
But nobody at the time could prove that it was flawed theoretically. It's just no one had the time to sort of look to see if he was really onto something.
But nevertheless, there are contingent cultural factors which affect the scientific ideas which are taken up.
Yeah, the way
which can often retard scientific progress.
Yeah, I mean the current of which areas of reality get investigated by science is not. That isn't some sort of noble, pure sort of investigative process which humans are engaged in for the benefit of all. Science has been largely driven by the desire to develop better weapon systems. To be honest, I mean a lot of mathematics is driven by the desire to better understand ballistics, firing cannonballs, and then you get into wanting to build nuclear weapons and things, and so you need your quantum theory. And so the history of where science has gone is not, it's pretty impure, and it's driven. But whether or not a particular equation or theory stands up is another matter. That's something which everyone can look at and agree about or disagree about. That
in a sense, what science is the effort to extract itself from its genetic origin and to exist in an axiomatic or systematic
it never can
form.
quite do that, but it's always trying to lift itself out of that. There's contingent arbitrary aspects and just exist in a pure archetypal
I guess
state.
art is always interested in bathing itself in its history and re-understanding its history at a moment.
Science is quite happy to destroy its own history completely. If a new thing comes along which proves everything before it was in a particular area of physics or whatever, new idea comes along which completely supersedes everything else, and in a completely non-sentimental way, everything else before it is just gone. That's it. Nobody's going to say, "Oh, I really used to like that." Sort of. That doesn't matter. It's the idea is to get to the truth, and art has a different. I mean, the one thing we kept coming back to is we have different. Conrad and I have different motivations and different agendas. We can talk to each other and we can kind of talk around these issues and possibly work together and create things together. But there is always going to be that gap that art isn't science and science isn't art.
I think that if there aren't any further questions, that's a perfect way to draw this discussion. Unless Conrad wants to add anything.
No, that's fine.
Thanks very much, everyone, for coming. And this has been, I think, I'm certainly exhausted after this week. I think we're all rather tired, but it's been really wonderful to kind of relive the week and to explore a bit more on what's come out of it. And obviously, I'd like to thank Conrad and Matthew for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure to be a moderator and a participant, and sometimes the audience as well, in seeing what happened in this completely kind of experimental process this week. And they're both really unique and gracious participants in this experiment. And I'd also like to thank Paul Cheney, Kenneth Hanley, Andrea Posesh, if I've said her surname right, and Catherine Proud, who have been members of the ergonomic team this week and in documenting and helping this process run smoothly. and participating in this fascinating discussion. Thanks very much, everybody.
And I'd like, sorry, just before you clap, I wanted to thank Urbanomic, because it's really, I suppose it's been really wonderful to have the chance to get away from the grindstone, and I've been really genuinely incredibly impressed just by the amount of dedication and just the professional nature of this, and just the generosity of it, really. I mean, it's something that just came out of the blue, and Robin's just pulls this stuff out, just really pulled this out of our hand. It's really amazing to have this down in Falmouth. I kind of grew up in St Maur's, really nearby, so I know this area, and it's such an amazing kind of little gem, this. And it's, anyway, it's been great to be here for a week, and very grateful.
I've also got a personal history with the area, so it's been really pleasurable to be down, and also just to be taken seriously. I mean, I sort of exist on the fringes of academic mathematics. To have someone who's actually looking at what I'm doing and showing an interest in this way is a nice contrast to what I'm used to.